Getting the old garage heated up with the shop heater. Made a few revisions on this since the last time you seen it. Got her burning pretty good. Did a little bit of an update up here on the drip system. Put a P-trap in it and a little bit different viewer. So you can see it dripping. I've got it pretty dialed in. She's been running pretty good. Then I put a shield on here. Kind of help preheat the air in here between the shield and where it pulls air up through that vent. It actually changed the temperature coming out the other side of it about 10 degrees. So move a little more heat around inside the shop here to keep it warm when it's freezing cold outside. We got a little snow last night. Get back to this Suburban. See if we can work on getting this thing closer to being finished today. Hoping to get it pretty well buttoned up today if possible. We'll see what happens. We got the frame stiffeners, or the frame strengthening plates welded in. I threw a little bit of paint on them. While I'm waiting for that to tack up, I'll probably start throwing the leaf springs back in it, get them reinstalled, and then work on getting that steering box put back in it. And then, like I said, we did get new steering rod ends, so I'll need to install those before we move on to the back. Alright, we'll get torn into this here, get some of these bushings put in this front leaf spring, kind of show you how those go in. Sure that mic's still working. Got new microphones, hopefully the audio will be a little bit better, you'll be able to hear what I'm saying a little better. Alright, looks like there's some bracketry in there, probably for the brake lines. We'll have to figure those out here shortly, but to put these in, essentially, these ones are for the rear, they're the smaller ones, these ones are for the front of the spring. That goes in the middle of these bushings. These two bushings go in like this, press them together, and then that goes in the middle. We'll get a little bit of grease on them, both to help installation and to keep it from being so noisy. I like using a little bit of that white lithium grease. Let's get that greased up on there real good. Slide those in there like that. Do these in a vise. This is just easier than trying to lift the leaf springs around. Those pressed in like so. Goob that thing up pretty good. See if we can get that to slide through there. I know it don't like to. Maybe flip it over on its side here and use a little bit of a hammer treatment. That's one bushing installed right there. And that one's ready to slide the front. I'll flip it around here, do a little time lapse of the second one going in the back, and then we're ready to put that spring into place. Alright, got the bushings front and rear on this. It's ready to go on the truck. See if we can get it up underneath there. Alright, spring number one's up in place. I'll put the bushings in the other one and then I'll get it up into place. Alright, so I got the U-bolts on. Now, where I don't have the other side in yet, and I don't have this thing sitting on the ground, I'm going to leave most of this loose. The leaf spring ones, I'm going to leave those completely loose until we got it sitting on the ground, so it's not putting those bushings on a bind. So once we set the weight of the vehicle on it, then I'll go ahead and tighten both the front and the rear leaf spring bolts up. These ones I'll leave loose until I have the other side hanging from it. Once we got it all hanging in place, then I'll go ahead and tighten the U-bolts up before I set it back down on the ground with the weight on it. Okay, got the passenger side one in now. So the front is actually hanging. Now we can go about putting the steering back together. Managed to get that steering box back in there all by myself under there, all awkward. It's not light and it wasn't easy to get those to thread, but we got it mounted back in. Now I just got to put the lines on it and make sure everything's torqued down to where it's supposed to be. Let's get the steering knuckle steering arm installed. That's the one that takes those 3 crush sleeves, cone-shaped crush, 3 cone-shaped crush sleeves. Say that 5 times fast. I'll slide that down onto there like so. Take these 3 cones. Remember those bastards? The bastard cones. Wipe them off real good. And then we will slide them down into place and torque them to spec. 7/8 is the number. So this, I'm going to start with the one that's in the middle. Good and tight. Good and tight. Good and tight. Now it says to torque these to 175 foot-pounds. My torque wrench only goes to 150. So we will max my torque wrench out. 150's pretty good. We'll go to 150 and then probably a little past that. Alright, all those are pretty good. I think we're good to go there. I would recommend, after all this is put back together, double check everything. Like I said, the leaf springs you don't want to tighten until it's got the weight of it sitting on it on the ground. So you're not putting those bushings on a bind. It'll make them wear out fast. And then when you drive the thing about 500-600 miles, I'd probably go over everything with a fine-tooth comb, make sure everything's still tight, and then retorque everything. Dig into the steering, replace all these rod ends while we're in here, and then rebuild the drag link. Alright, looks like we had to order another part, so I'm going to put this one back in to put it back together for now, and then just swap this out once the part shows up later today. Well, the front's sitting down on its own weight. Still got to run down to the store and grab an outer tie rod. It's close enough to see what she looks like with the lift all the way on it, so there she is. Starting to look like a potential future feature on Whistler Diesel with that Carolina squat going on. We'll fix it. Gotta finish putting the back on. Got the brake line extensions in. Shocks all installed. Looking pretty good. Alright, we got her flipped around backwards. I'm gonna tear into the back. Not a whole lot to it. Looks like there's U-bolts, springs, shocks. Alright, let's have a little lesson here. I spy something wrong. Can you tell me what it is? Anybody? Anybody tell me what's going on there? Kind of hard for those things to hold themselves tight when you use the cone side out. It's supposed to be on the inside to keep them from coming loose. Scary. Well, the upper shock mount on the right side had a rat-tat-tat, but not the last tat in it. She came loose. Let's see if I can find me one of those or source something. We got the springs in there. We're about buttoned up. Had to run down to O'Reilly and get a shock bolt. Replace that one that broke. That one's close enough. It should do the trick. And just throw the shocks in. Double check, make sure all these bolts are good and tight. And then I'm going to modify this by bending it down just a little bit. I don't think we need to do much else other than bend that down for the rear brake line and we'll be set to go. Well, shows how smart I really am. Broke that one. Figured, oh shoot, better run down and grab one from O'Reilly. Didn't think to look in the hardware with the new shocks. Comes with new ones. Just my luck. Yeah. Now we got the right one to put back in there. There she is, all lifted up, ready to roll. Take it for a test spin. See what's going down. Tests. Stay tuned to the channel and sure this isn't the last you've seen of the Suburban. And remember to like, subscribe, comment, and share.